All right, why'd you call me here? The game store gives me the heebie-jeebies. They got all those creepy, strange, newfangled dice here.
What? I didn't call you. I haven't been back to the game store since my near-fatal Dungeons & Dragons injury.
All right, guys, what's the big idea? Which one of you called me here to the game store at night? You guys know I've never been to the game store at night before.
You've never been anywhere anytime. You don't know how bad it is out here. There could be tetrahedrons anywhere.
What?
What was that?
Was that some kind of plot hook? Whoa!
Oh my god, I've never seen such a weird little guy appear out of thin air like that before.
Neither is anyone in the world.
It is me, the Game Master. I am the one who called you three here to this game store. For you must complete a special task for me.
Ugh! A game master? Is that some sort of dungeon master? I can't play Dungeons & Dragons anymore. Not since my injury.
Not to worry, my injured little friend. I am here to help you master a different type of game.
There are games other than D&D?
But even in other games, you have to use all those strange dice. Pyramids, octahedrons, goddamn decahedrons.
Not to worry, my dodecahedron-hating chum. This game only uses regular-ass dice. 6-sided ones.
Only cubes? I never thought it was possible. I'm safe.
And I'm also here, and I've never even played any game ever before. At all. So what even is this game?
Well, it's called Blades in the Dark, you weirdo. It's a tabletop role-playing game, which means you pretend to be a character, say things you want to do, and then use dice to decide if you succeed.
Sounds stupid.
6-sided dice.
Yes, 6-sided dice. Now, I'm going to teach you all how to play, and together, we're going to pull off the greatest heist in Blades in the Dark history. Because this is...
How to play Blades in the Dark!
Yay!
All right, everyone, gather round. First, we've got to figure out what sort of scoundrels you are.
What are you saying?
Hey, wait a minute.
Just because I'm an expert in poisons and illegal technology?
I had no choice but to turn to cat burglaring after my injury.
I mean, I've never done it, or anything. But yeah, I definitely do crimes.
Blades in the Dark happens in 3 stages, and fellas, you best start believing in the first stage because you're in it.
Stage 1! Free play!
Yay!
In the free play stage, we decide on our score, gather information, and decide how much equipment to bring.
But what is a score?
In this case, boys, it's a book. All right, let me level with you. It's a book containing the rules of Blades in the Dark.
But are you teaching us the rules?
This is just a quick overview. The book is extremely important to keep playing the game.
This is why we're at this godforsaken game store?
Well, I just got here, but I'll try anything once. Right, guys?
Okay.
Now that we're all agreed, here's the deal. We're out here. The book's in there. If you want more information than that, you're gonna have to roll for it.
Oh, beautiful cube-shaped fucking dice. 6 sides and not one more or less.
All right, I'm pretty good at cat burglaring. Let me sneak around the place and see what I see. What do? Roll a dice and add some kind of modifier?
Not at all. When you play Blades, you use your character sheet, called a playbook, to tell you how many dice you get to roll. If you're really good at something, you get to roll a bunch of dice and take the highest number you get. If you're really bad, you have to roll 2 dice and take the lowest number.
Whoa, that's so non-traditional. It's like there's an advantage or a disadvantage on every roll. Well, I'm great at sneaking, and my playbook says I've got 3 in prowl, so...
So you'll roll 3 dice.
Yippee! My highest roll is a 6.
Oh, that's a great roll. So you're going to get great information. As you skulk around outside the game store, flitting from shadow to shadow, without arousing a hint of suspicion, you see that the book is displayed in the front window. No lasers, no pressure switch, no alarm. There are, however, a series of security cameras to avoid, but you scoped out where they all are.
Well, if I knew anything about anything, I think I'd say we better get robbing the place.
But wait! First, you must each decide what you want to bring with you on your heist. If you carry a heavy load, you'll have more weapons and tools available to you, but you'll also be more noticeable and suspicious. Choose well.
Well, I need all my gadgets and poisons. I'll carry a heavy load.
As a cat burglar, I'll keep everything light.
I'll just bring nothing.
Oh, okay. That's not really in the rules, but okay. What kind of approach are you guys planning to take here? Are you sneaking in, barging in, guns a-blazing, using deception to pull a con? You get an additional missing detail of information based on your choice.
Let's sneak in. Maybe if the lights are off, I won't see any strangely shaped dice.
Stealth it is. That means your missing detail is your point of entry. So we'll begin our adventure at the back door of this game store, where you notice one of the security cameras is broken.
Great! So now we plan our heist, predicting and prepping for every possible outcome and surprise.
Exactly wrong! When you play Blades, we get right into the action. No planning ahead of time.
But,
The last part of free play is the engagement roll.
But how are we supposed to...
If you roll high, you'll start your adventure in a controlled position, which means everything's going according to plan. If you roll medium, you'll start your adventure in a risky position. You're not in trouble yet, but there are complications. If you roll low, you will start in a desperate position. Everything is going bad, and you'll need to solve your current problems before continuing with the heist.
But if we don't meticulously plan...
One of you, roll it! Sometimes you might roll more or less dice depending on the circumstances surrounding your heist, but today, it's just one regular old cubic dice.
Yeah! It's a 4!
Oh ho ho! So we start our score in a risky position, eh?
But we haven't even planned!
Phase 2! The
score! Yay! All is quiet on this cool summer night. Crickets chirp. The street lamp flickers. The breeze whistles by. The 3 of you sneak around the back of the game store, deftly dodging the views of the security cameras you scoped out earlier.
Does anyone else feel unprepared?
Nah, man. I've got all my gadgets.
I feel great.
Shh! You approach the back door, squinting at the broken security camera all the while to make sure its red indicator doesn't come blinking back on. You pick the lock and find yourselves in the dingy staff break room. You're in. However, just then, a light inside the store turns on and a voice says, "Hey, is someone there?"
Oh, shit!
What would you like to do?
What can we do?
In the score phase of Blades, you as players will take actions. Basically, you say what you want to do and what skill you want to use to do it, which tells us how many dice to roll. Then I tell you what position you're in and how much effect your actions could possibly have.
What the hell does that mean? I don't just succeed if I succeed and fail if I fail?
That's more interesting than that. The 3 possible positions, as I said before, are controlled, risky, and desperate. Controlled means there won't be consequences, even if you fail your roll. You can just try something else. Risky means there will be consequences if you fail. And desperate means that if you fail, some major shit is gonna go down.
And we're in a risky position right now. Somebody do something.
Not so fast. You'd best take an action that has the intended effect. The 3 possible effects are great, standard, and limited. Great effect means that if you succeed, you'll have a huge impact on the situation. Standard effect means you'll have a normal impact on the situation. And limited effect means that even if you succeed, your impact is small. This might be because you're injured, because your enemy is too strong, because you've decided to do something insane or impossible, or any number of other complications.
Wow. So I can't just say I punched the sun and roll a crit on my D20?
Don't say D20!
Okay, cool. So I want to use my attune skill to summon a ghost.
Oh,
Hello?
pardon?
Oh, so you've chosen the route of the arcane, have you? What do you want your ghostly summoning to accomplish?
I want to convince this person the place is just haunted. No need to look for intruders.
Very well. As we know, your position is risky and your effect is standard. In fact, if you want to convince this person of a haunting, it's going to take more than one action. I'm going to start a 4-part clock for the haunting. Once you've filled this clock, the person inside will be convinced.
A clock? I don't see any clock.
In Blades, the clock is represented by a circle divided into pie shapes. Once you fill all the pieces of the pie by completing actions, you can achieve something. You can also have bad, evil clocks that count against you, such as clocks that track your suspicion, or clocks that are being filled by your enemies.
All right, so I have a 2 in attune. And my highest roll is a 5.
What number do we have to hit to succeed?
In Blades, the scale is always the same. A 1, 2, or 3 means you get a bad outcome. A 4 or 5 means a partial success, and a 6 is a full success, no matter the roll.
So I got a partial success.
Yes, my friend, you use your dark powers.
Hello?
You have those?
And you summon the ghost of an old woman who phases through the door and breathes cold air onto the neck of whoever is on the other side.
That can happen?
What the hell?
However, her form fades to a faint mist as she passes through the door, and she could just be a trick of the eyes. However, 2 ticks on the haunting clock are now filled.
Yes!
The light stays on, but no one comes out to check, and the voice calls again, shakier now. Hello?
All right, I want to also summon a ghost to fill up that clock.
All right. Do you have any points toward attune?
No.
Do you have any abilities or tools that would help you summon a ghost?
No, just stop asking questions. Let me do this.
If you don't have any points in this skill, you'll have to roll 2 dice and take the lower roll. However, you do have some options here. In Blades in the Dark, you can get more dice to roll on an action by using stress.
Stress? What the hell is that? I already got enough stress!
Stress is a resource you have in Blades. Each player has 9 to start, but if you use them all up, you'll give your character a trauma they never recover from.
Like my dice aversion.
However, if you'd like to use 2 stress to push yourself, you can get an extra dice on this roll. You could also propose a flashback and bring us back to a time where you planned for just this situation. Depending on how much sense it makes for your character to have prepared this action, it can cost between 0 and 2 stress to do this.
All right, flashback. I've been working on a ghost summoning device to help me all week.
Yeah, because we've definitely been planning this all week.
I remember it like it was last week.
All right, a ghost summoning device. That's a pretty hefty invention. That's going to cost you 2 stress and an item slot from your load. But it's going to give you 1 dice, so now you will not have to roll 2 and take the lower. You'll just roll 1 and see how it goes. We're still in a risky position here, but you're going to have great effect if they have 2 ghost encounters in one night.
Okay, great. Let me just... That's a 1.
A 1 gives a bad result, my friend. Footsteps start to approach this break room as you pull out the device you made. Its gears whir and its lights flash, and you try to summon the dark magic inside you, but there just isn't any. No ghost passes over. And a moment later, a woman wearing a game store uniform storms in, looking pissed off.
So we just get caught? Just like that?
Well, in fact, in Blades in the Dark, you can attempt to resist the consequences of a failure.
Okay, I want to do that.
However, everything comes with a price. If you want to resist the consequences of your actions, it's going to cost you 6 stress, minus a dice roll based on your skills in a given area. What would you like to do to resist?
I want to hide us all, so she thinks it really was a ghost. I've got a few skill points under prowess. I can do that, right?
All right, roll your dice and let's see.
I only got a 1, So that means I take 5 whole stress, but
But your resistance still works. As you hear the game store employee approaching, you grab your companions and hide under the break room table in a flash. The employee's eyes widen when she sees no one here to explain the sounds she's been hearing. And that fills 2 more ticks on the haunting clock, which means you've filled the clock and she believes the store is haunted.
hooray!
The game store employee screams and runs out, but as she does, you hear her calling someone on her phone. And a moment later, sirens in the distance.
The pigs! Scatter!
We're not gonna scatter. We don't have the book yet.
Indeed, you do not. But you can always abandon your score.
No. We just gotta do this fast. You said there's no security around the book itself, right?
I did. What action would you like to take?
Okay. We got 1 shot at this, boys, so I'll need to use a skill that I'm really good at. And I'll use stress to push myself. And is there any other way to get more dice, Game Master? Game Master, answer me!
In the darkest, direst of times, you may want to take a devil's bargain.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
So yes, my sweet feather, I'll give you an extra dice. But it will come at a terrible cost. Suspicion on your group will be raised even after this score is finished, and you yourself will take a level 3 harm.
Harm? Is that like a...
An injury!
No! God!
In Blades in the Dark, you don't have hit points to represent your well-being, but different levels of harm, which have different effects. There are 6 in all, and if you take too much harm, you die.
Ah! Oh, Christ! Dying is the only thing worse than an injury. But I'll take your bargain, Game Master. And that brings me up to 5 dice. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do backflips all the way over to that display. Grab the Blades in the Dark rulebook, shove it in my pants, set up an explosive charge to cover our escape, and backflip all the way back out of this goddamn game store.
All right, pal, your position is desperate. If you don't succeed here, the consequences will be dire. However, your effect, should you succeed, will be great.
You can do this.
You got it!
Okay. I got a 6! I actually got 2 6s!
More than 1 6 is a critical success.
Hot dog!
Yeah!
You flip through this game store like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Your companions watch in amazement as you move through the shelves of books and dice and board games like water, like shadow, like air. Moving so quickly, it's difficult to see your movements at all. You grab the book, you set off the charge, and then you're off, sprinting back through the door, flipping over obstacles.
Run! This place is gonna blow!
The 3 of you run. You're out of the showroom. You're past the break room table. The sirens are blaring closer and closer. The beeps of the bomb are getting faster and faster. You push your companions in front of you. You're at the door. And the charges go off. You're thrown forward out into the parking lot. You're covered in burns and soot, but the game book down the back of your pants protected all the important bits.
Oh, God! My arm! My epidermis! Oh, my spleen! Oh, my dick's okay, though. We're good.
You can barely move, but your friends help you to your feet.
You did it!
Let's go!
And while the police are distracted by your explosion, the 3 of you make it back to your car and drive off. Your new copy of Blades in the Dark firmly in hand.
Oh, thank God we made it. Now I can take a long rest and recover completely from these full-body third-degree burns.
Yeah, and I'll get to get rid of all my stress.
And I will also be there, sleeping.
What's that? Oh, no. That's not how this works. You see, the game's not over quite yet.
Wait, what?
Phase 3, downtime!
What do you mean that's not how it works? My whole body! Ah!
The third phase of Blades in the Dark is called downtime. And during downtime, you can choose to acquire assets, do projects, recover from harm, or relieve stress by indulging your vice. You each get 2 downtime activities, so you have to choose what matters most to you and what matters most before the next score.
The next score?
But before all that, we will have to do an entanglement roll. This roll depends on how much heat you guys have built up. Heat is how much rivals and authorities know about your crew. And with that explosion there at the end, you guys definitely gained some heat. So let me just... That's a 5 for entanglement, and it looks like you guys have 6 heat. So that means... a demonic notice or a show of force.
What?
Oh!
Your successful and unsuccessful attempts to contact the dead have attracted the wrong kind of attention, I'm afraid. When you open your Blades in the Dark rulebook as you drive away from the scene, its pages bloom with blood that drips down all over you, burning hot.
Oh, God!
I'm already burned!
When the last of the blood drains away, the book's pages are left blank except for the words in dark black ink. Disturb the dead and join them. But that probably means nothing. Time for you all to decide if you want to roll to heal some of that harm, reduce some heat, or relieve your stress. But keep in mind, if you're unlucky, it just won't work. You can't expect to just sleep for 8 hours and have everything reset, can you?
I guess not.
On the bright side, this is also the part of the game where you all level up, based on whether your actions were in character or desperate.
Oh, nice.
This has all been very exciting, but what if I need more information about Blades? Our book is all haunted now.
Well, you can always check out the official Blades in the Dark website, bladesinthedark.com, and you can listen to this podcast, Legend Lark, to hear 4 extremely hinged people actually play this game.
I was afraid to listen to Legend Lock due to my injury. But if they're playing Blades in the Dark now...
Yeah, and if they're finally done using all those non-6-sided dice...
Oh, I love Legend Lark. All that time I spent not doing anything, I'm listening to Legend Lark.
That's right. Legend Lark, the only podcast on the internet, are now playing Blades in the Dark for their brand new campaign, Never Nowhere. Head to legendlark.com for more details or listen to the next episode.
Yay!